Hi, Rod Fleming in the Philippines here. How are you today? We're going to talk first of all about the Passport Bros. I'll explain that. Please remember we need your support. So please go onto one of the sites, go into our Patreons, do something to send a little bit. It all helps. Now, the Passport Bros. Now, I didn't actually know anything about this until a friend of mine, we were having a chat on Google Chat, because he's an American guy, ex-military, and he's sort of keen to come to the Philippines. In fact, he's met a girl here in the Philippines, and it's all seems to be working out fine. So I gave him a few tips about what to watch for, and I'll do another video about that if there's enough interest. Anyway, he discussed this thing, the Passport Bros. So me being me, I went, I wonder what that's all about. So I then went to check on YouTube, as you do, and yes, this is a big thing. Now, the Passport Bros themselves seem to originally have been from men from the black community in the United States, and frequently ex-military guys, and they had been traveling, or they had been used to being traveling in Southeast Asia, and they'd met the girls, Southeast Asia, also Japan. I mean, it's been going on for a long, long time. So if you go right back to World War II, I did a little bit of checking, and yeah, this sort of thing was happening after World War II when American servicemen were meeting Japanese women and bringing them back, getting married, bringing them back to the States. Now, a lot of the guys who are doing this now appear to be from the black community, which I thought was very interesting. Just let you understand here, this is Asia, and nobody gives a monkeys about the colour of your skin here. It's just not relevant. The black guys can come here, they'll find nice girls who are interested. There's plenty of black guys come here, and they don't have any hassle at all. Like I said, I don't know what the United States must be like. It must be awful, because the stories I hear are totally horrific. Here, if you're polite and, reasonable, and, you don't look like a complete slob, everybody will just treat you like, fine, you won't have a problem. Seriously, you won't. And I'll give you a couple of tips of things that you should watch out for. One thing you probably might not be ready for, if you're from the black community and you're coming to the Philippines, is they use the N-word quite a lot. They probably won't say that to your face, but it's part of the culture. Just get on with it, get used to it. They don't mean harm by it. These are not, these people are not American. They're speaking a different language anyway, so just try and see through that, because they don't mean harm by it. It's like Ladyboy, it's just what they use. So, the Passport Bros. What will happen is typically they will come here and they'll try and hook up with girls. Now, I'm not talking here about men who are mongers, like they're going to the bars and they're meeting girls there and they're paying for sex and they're having sex that way. Yeah, I mean, that happens. That definitely happens. Just go up to any of the places, Walking Street or any place really, and you'll find loads of that. That's quite, it's everywhere here, everywhere in Asia, because nobody gives a damn about prostitute sex work here. I mean, nobody. It's just not an issue. So, I guess from time to time the police might do things but if they're doing that, it's just to try and get some bribe money, So really don't worry about it, it's not an issue. But I'm not talking about guys like that. I'm talking about guys who are coming to the Philippines because they're fed up of the way they get treated by women at home. And so they go, no, I'm not having that anymore. I'm going to go somewhere where the women are nice. And they haven't been totally corrupted and destroyed by feminism, which is what has happened in the West. Is that feminism, far from helping them, has been terrible for them. It's disastrous. The most, men have been harmed by feminism, but women have been harmed far, far more by this ridiculous. It's just communism under another hat, and it has been that way since 1990 or thereabouts. All of the legitimate demands of feminism, things like let's get paid the same amount of money for the same work, all completely reasonable. Let's get the vote, all completely reasonable. Let's get equal this and equal that, all completely reasonable. All of these things were done by 1990. So you go, why do we still have feminism? And the answer is because it's a political agenda. You can't sell communism in the West. We know what it's like. We watched it, we read the Gulag Archipelago. So they think, well, what we'll do is we'll get communism in through the back door using feminism. And then you won't be able to say anything because that would be sexist. Well, I don't care about being called sexist. I don't care about being called anything. Call me anything you like. I don't give a monkeys. Why would I care what you think? Do you get the point here? I don't care. And the point here is that these people, the Passport Bros, they come here and they don't give a monkeys either. Because, you go online, you go onto YouTube and you'll see loads of videos made by black women saying how absolutely terrible it is. Oh, it's so awful. These men are going to these foreign countries and they're getting women there. And then, oh my God, they're not black women. Oh my God, it's terrible. Why are they doing that to us? They're doing that to you because you've been a bunch of shower of absolute bitches. That's why they're doing it. They've had enough. It's like, why would I bother? I was the same. The Passport Bros are technically they're from the black community, but actually this has been happening amongst the white community for many, many years. Men have come here and gone, the girls here are much nicer than they are in England or wherever. They don't think that they're men in disguise. They don't think that they don't think any of the stupid things that feminism tries to fill their heads up with. They just want to be nice women, nice mothers, and nice wives to a nice man. That's what they want. And of course you can find that here. Now, one thing to understand is that, there's an awful lot of argument about what constitutes a woman. And I have to admit, I play devil's advocate with this all the time. I just stir it up because I find the people who get antsy about this so ridiculously absurd. What the definition here in Southeast Asia, okay? The definition of a woman is a mother. Until you are a mother, you're not really a woman. You're a girl, okay? And once you become a woman, then you get authority. You get status. You are on the first rung of the clan hierarchy. And traditional culture in Southeast Asia is all based on clans. And clans are always run by mothers, by matriarchs, by the grandmothers, the Lolas. No man here contradicts his Lola. It doesn't happen. Philippines had between 1986 and 2016, that's 30 years. It had half that time, it was governed by female presidents who were the matriarchs of very powerful clans. That's where they got the power. The men give the women their power because the men are the army. Do you understand this? So, coming to here, there's a few things you need to understand. When you, as a Passport Bro, come into the Philippines, you're going to have to join this culture. And the first thing you're going to have to accept is that Lola is the boss. If your girl introduces you to Lola, this is a serious commitment on her part. It means she's serious about you. So don't insult her. Play bunny. Be incredibly respectful to Lola. And she will be lovely, and it will all go well. It'll be fine. Nobody's going to give you any shit at all. It's like, yeah, that's fine. He fits in well. Like I say, they don't care what the colour of your skin is. They care how you behave. They will take you as you present yourself. And if you're decent and kind and helpful, this is fine. But people don't understand in the West. And that is the concept of paying back the mother's milk. Okay? I'll say that again. Paying back the mother's milk. And what that means is that the children, if you have children, because there's no real, the pensions here are effing pathetic. I mean, it's like, Jesus, 30 bucks a month or something. It's just absolutely insanely no money, So how do you survive? How are you going to provide for your life as an older person? The answer is you have kids. And they look after you when you get older, right? So you, as the mother, bring, and the mother and her husband, obviously, bring the child up, the mother bears the child, you bring the child up, you look after him or her. And then when you get old, that child is there to contribute. That child will then pay back into your pocket into the clan budget so that you can have a comfortable life in your retirement. And this is a fine way of doing things. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there are any so-called retirement homes, they're just granny farms, in the Philippines. There might be a few in the rich areas, but nobody does that. They just get looked after by their family. And most people here die at home, or it's just their last few hours that they spend in hospital. It's not because they can't afford the hospital, because there are charity hospitals, even if they are poor. It's because they want to be with the family. That's what they like. Family is so important here. It's just huge. It's the biggest thing in Filipino culture. And it's true of the whole of Southeast Asia, is the family. I remember all those films about the Italians, and the family, alla familia, and all that kind of thing. Well, it's exactly the same here. Believe me, the family is what matters. And if you are invited into the family, they don't care what colour your skin is. They just don't give a damn. Nobody does. It's like, yeah, so as long as you fit in and you're nice and people like you, then that's it. But you will be expected to help out a little bit. Your girlfriend, especially if your girlfriend is a ladyboy, and the reason for that is that the ladyboy is actually a male, and so males have more of a burden of financially funding the clan than females do. Females are expected fairly early on in traditional societies, not so much in the middle class society, traditional working class society. Females are expected to have babies very young, and they do. I know plenty of girls who had their first babies when they were 15, and an awful lot, it's going to be like 20, 21. So the girls aren't really under any huge pressure to financially support the family, but ladyboys are boys, right? They're male, so they inherit the responsibilities that they would have if they hadn't, blossomed into beautiful ladyboys. If they were still just guys, they would have a responsibility financially to the family, and they would have to honour that. And you're not expecting your I hope that you're not expecting your ladyboy girlfriend to go and do some stupid job for $30 a week. You're gonna help out financially. You're gonna fund her, and so that means that some of that funding is going to go to the family. Well, don't make a fuss about it. Just accept that's the way it is. If you join these clans, if you become part of one of these clans, when you get sick or you get old, they will look after you. It's a system that you pay in and you get back. That's how the clans work. You're part of a clan, you're loyal to the clan, and the clan will be loyal to you in return. Something which the West has totally destroyed with its abandonment of the clan system for the absurdity, absolute absurdity of the nuclear family, which has been a major stepping stone in the total ruin of the West, by the way. And of course, it has also been a major stepping stone in the rise of feminism, which is the agent of destruction. So, for you passport bros, do it. Just do it. Get yourselves a passport. Remember, in the Philippines and across Southeast Asia, politeness is major. Just be polite to everybody, and they will appreciate it. They'll be polite back. There are some areas, particularly in Muslim areas of Mindanao, for example, where they are problematic. But most people here are Catholics, and they're very sweet, kind, helpful people. I've occasionally had problems. I remember one at Tal Lake, and some guy was trying to basically con me into it. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He wanted me to go on a boat ride around the bloody volcano. It's dark in an hour. I can't remember what it was, but it was like $150. And I was like, go and raffle yourself. But that kind of thing is pretty rare here. It really is. You'll find that there's the foreigner prices, and you just have to get that. What you do there, by the way, is you get your girl to go. You go, look, would you go and do this? Because, I do that with Sam. Sam does it all. If they see you, the white guy, or the black guy, I suppose if you were a First Nations American, they would just think you're another Filipino, so it would be like, fine, yeah. if you as the white guy are seen, then the price will double. Sorry about the dogs. And it's annoying, but what can you do? I mean, it's just the way it is. You just get the girl to go, and then if the guy changes his mind later, and it has happened, then somebody like Sam will just stamp her foot and say, no, you're not doing that. We negotiated that price, and the guy will do it. But he'll still do it. So the Passport Bros, I think that it's a fantastic idea. If you want, if you're a man who's looking for children, Filipinos make fantastic mothers. And of course, you're living in a clan that's made up of mothers, right? Now, the other side of this is that you will have to join the men group in these clans. And just don't be teetotal, okay? I mean, you don't actually have to smoke. I mean, I hate smoking, and a lot of guys do nowadays. But yeah, so many people here still smoke, but they certainly drink. And they have a way of drinking here, to let you know, which it involves one glass and a bottle, okay? Usually it'll be something like Emperador brandy, which frankly is devil juice. It's just awful stuff. It's just crazy wild stuff. Please try and avoid it. If you get a choice, you go for Tanduay. That's a rum. It's a little bit more nice. Emperador is a sort of a fake brandy, and boy, wow, it's like being smacked in the head with a golf club. Anyway, the way it works is you've got the one glass. the tangero, or the tangera if it's a girl, the tangero will fill up the glass, hand you the glass, and you knock it back in one, hand it back to him. He fills it up, passes it to the next person, who goes, knocks it back, goes around the table until it gets back to the tangero. He takes a whack, right? And then you might pause for a couple of minutes, and then he'll do it again, and again, and again, until the bottle is empty. And then you being the foreigner, they'll probably say, do you think you could fund us a couple of bottles now? Right? Because we drank all that. Do you think you could get more? Well, MP is like $2 for a standard bottle. So you're going to go, yeah, just go and get some. And believe me, you're going to wake up with the most unbelievable headache in the morning. But still, you're going to be accepted. The boys are going to go, you're fine. And when you finally keel over because you're not used to drinking this fucking stuff, they'll get you up and come on, it's time you went to bed now. You're sleeping. You're obviously tired. Go to bed. And it's all very nice. It's all very sweet, and it's fine. It's just the way it is here. You just fit in. You just do it. You don't ever try and be different in the Philippines. Just fit into the, excuse me, the fucking dog. Just fit into the way things are done here. I mean, I know guys who, they insist that their wives have to work because women should be independent and have their own career. And the wives absolutely bloody hate it because they want to be at home having babies. And why these relationships never last. Sooner or later, the girl goes, he's not actually going to have any babies. He's not going to be the father of my kids, so I'm out of here. Or what she'll do is she'll just go and get pregnant with somebody else. And then she'll say to them, well, I forgot to take my pill. Or the condom broke. And of course, this little brown baby comes out and the guy's left going, I wonder what happened there. Because she's a brown girl. So she can say, well, I'm brown, I'm Filipino. What do you expect to come out? It's a Filipino baby. That's what she'll do. Don't be fooled by this. Being a mother is a huge, huge, huge thing here. It defines a woman. Men are defined in this culture by many things, like the ability to drink to drink MP until you fall over. That's one. But the main one is penetrating. Men penetrate. Right? They stick their bits in something else. Okay? And they're actually not that fussy what it will be, as long as they're doing the sticking. Right? That defines a man. A woman is defined by motherhood. She is not a woman until she has a kid. And by the way, just to go back to our favourite subject, that's why ladyboys are never women here. They can't be real women because they can't be mothers. I mean, I know ladyboys who've adopted and they're accepted, but they're still not really mothers. Doesn't work that way. In order to be a woman in this culture, you must be a mother. And so to the passport bros, I'm going to say, don't imagine that you can avoid this. You know, if you're lucky enough to get a girl who hasn't already got kids, and that's going to be tricky, you know, because you're a foreigner. And, you know, it's not easy to get with a local girl. It's not easy to get with a local girl. You know, they're ring-fenced. They're protected. You're not supposed to shag them until you've married them. If you're lucky enough to get with a girl like that, she's going to want kids. You cannot refuse her. You can't. Older girls probably will already have kids. You will just have to accept them. One of the things I would say to any of these guys, passport bros who are coming here, and I don't care what your colour is because nobody here does, be very, very careful when it comes to children. Right? If the girl was married and didn't have kids, there's not really a problem. There is no divorce here. Marriages can be annulled, but it's a very expensive process and it takes many years, like a decade. Unless you know a judge and can, you know, that's difficult. It's still expensive. So, you've got a problem with the kids because the father has got rights. In the first place, I've said this before, if the girl is still married, then just by sleeping with her, you're committing adultery. And he could theoretically, I've never heard this happen, but he could theoretically have you deported. That man is adultering with my wife. Even though they don't live together and haven't lived together for years, he ran off, you know, or whatever. He can still do that. So be careful. Make sure you choose the girl well. The rest of the one is sounds terrible, but the guy died. That's the best one. Otherwise, you're going to have to get some sort of legal cover. You know, you're going to have to go and get to the lawyer and get him to go to the lawyer and sign away his rights and say, no, I waive my rights in this issue, both to the woman and to any children. Be very, very careful with this, because men get stuck with this. And then, you know, they don't usually get deported, but what will happen is that the demands for money will start coming in. You know, the guy who hasn't been interested in the woman for years suddenly gets very interested because, why? Because she's got a foreign boyfriend. And so he's absolutely mega rich. Bloody Elon flipping Musk, you know? So he can be tapped for as much money as this guy can possibly get out of him. And that's going to happen to you if you're not careful. Different story in Thailand where they do have divorce, but the Philippines, you've got to watch that. You really do have to watch it. You know, you could be talking to a girl who's a really sweetie, you know, a lovely girl. I've got 2 kids, you know. I need somebody to look after them, and they're sweet kids, you know, they like you. And you come and sit on your knee, you know. They're just, because Filipino kids are just lovely, you know. And it's like, oh, you get right. You know how, I know how it goes, you know, and you're like, oh, I could really fit into this family. I could be just great, you know, I'll be the dad and you know, we'll have some more kids. It'd be fantastic. And then you find out that there's some bloody bloodsucker, some blood-sucking guy in the background who's just waiting to hit you with a huge bill. Now, I know this happens. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to men. You don't want this to happen to you guys. You really don't. So do your research. Make sure that you know. This was actually suggested by the same guy. There are agencies here, you know, like almost like detective agencies, and they will find out for you if the girl was ever married. It's not that easy a thing to do as a civilian, but these agencies will do that. So find one and just have her checked out. You know, was this girl ever married? Is there something in her background that I should really know about? And of course, that one is one you really, really do want to know about. So other than that, however, assuming that you can somehow resolve that particular little issue, then yeah, if you want to be a dad and have a nice family, this place is fantastic. You know, the family situation here is lovely. It's beautiful. It's welcoming and accepting and supportive. And you will instantly have this clan. All the men become your cousin. Do you understand that? It's like we're all in this together, all for one and one for all. You are protected. You're made. You're part of the family. So that's a few words to the passport bros. Good luck, lads. That's all I can say. Good luck. And Never pay any attention to the shrieking Western harpies. They're trash. They know perfectly well that they're trash. They know that if they weren't trash, you would go with them, because most people are too lazy to go abroad. You know, you would put up with a fair bit of their bullshit. It's just that they ask too much bullshit. It's too much. Nobody's going to tolerate what they demand. And why would they? Why would they? When there are millions, probably billions, of gorgeous, lovely girls who are happy to be your wife. And I mean wife. I don't mean partner. I mean actually wife. She'll nurse you when you're sick. She'll make your food. She'll iron your shirt. She'll do it. She'll make sure you will never be allowed to wash clothes. Men don't wash clothes. None of that stuff. You will be pampered, spoiled, and made to feel like a very much appreciated, loved man. Go for it, but be careful. Take care and watch the points I've made. And if you want more, I can give you as much as you like about this. I know a lot about this area. It's not just Ladyboys, you know. Okay, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.